It is ironic. So the story that we were talking about, also, so this is on radioonfire.com. So the former mayor of Tallahassee, candidate, he came within I don't know, 33,000 votes of being the governor of Florida, was on the premiere of the, I really like her show, Tamron Hall. So the Tamron Hall show, premiere for season 2. He was there alongside his wife talking about the scandal that found him entering rehab, and saying that he had depression, alcoholism, after he was found unresponsive in this hotel room where he was drunk, half dressed. Maybe he had his socks on. Maybe that was all he had on. The scandal revealed that Gillum was allegedly, well, you say allegedly, but he was in a room with the male escort, right? And he was at one time looked at as possibly being the vice presidential pick for Joe Biden. But of course, this and other things brought that to a screeching halt. I think it would have helped, but maybe not. Maybe he wouldn't have done some of this stuff. But here's the thing. You can do what you do, and everybody has, their things. But having a political figure like this in this compromising position, not good. Now, I'm going to say this. It sounded like he was set up, right? The way the whole thing went down seemed like it was a setup. But let me say this. There are others in Washington and throughout this country, politicians that have secret lives and are involved in activity the same way that Andrew Gillum is. He ain't the only one, okay? But he was outed probably because he was going to be picked by Joe Biden, and he was into this kind of stuff. But if he was into women, then he probably would have been outed with some woman escort and the such. But it just so happened that men was his thing, and that's how he was embarrassed and taken down. Is this the end for Andrew Gillum? I'm saying that this is the start of the rebirth, the rebirth of Andrew Gillum. I say that he is trying to make another political run. He did not rule it out. And with this revelation, I think that he's going to get the support of a lot of people. People were dumping on him. People were dumping on him. He went to rehab, and after his stint at rehab, he released a statement, a video message, about 11 minutes long. We talked about that when it happened. And now, with his wife sitting beside him for the first time on live TV, Gillum came out as bisexual. Says he identifies as bisexual. And, says he's not gay. Says that he is bisexual, and a lot of people are talking about the differences between the two. If he likes that, then he likes. And my thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but if you like both, then you're bi. Some that are turned on by the same sex don't like the opposite sex, making them gay. But if he likes both, it's bi. Like a bicycle, 2 wheels. Bisexuals like two sexes, both sexes, right? Unicycle, 1 wheel, aka gay, right? So unicycle is gay, 1 wheel is what I mean. But what did I think of the interview that Tamron Hall did with Andrew Gillum and his wife? His wife is she is an interesting lady. She's a strong lady. A lot of ladies couldn't deal with what she's had to deal with. This alleged crystal meth overdose. That's serious. What? This wasn't no weed. This was allegedly crystal meth. He bought that life. He's hanging with some different people. He wasn't hanging with people from in the hood because the hood doesn't do crystal meth. But the interview addressed that incident and his sexuality. His wife seemingly staying with him, holding him down, and a lot of people dumping on her. And a lot of people have a lot to say about the fact that she's sticking with her husband. She does see a career to have kids, right? And this is not nothing new. It's not like she just found out. We may recently have found out, but she already knew he was about that life. She already knew that. Um, and when I say about that life, Gillum said that he identifies not as gay, but as bisexual. And he said that he had never shared that publicly before. Gillum also addressed a photo that surfaced of him lying naked in the hotel room. I said half dressed earlier. He was naked. It's crazy. When that photo came out, I did not recognize the person on the floor. That was not anything more than a person being at their most vulnerable state, unconscious, having given no consent, and someone decided to use a moment where I was literally lying in my own vomit. It looked bad. It looked very bad. This man almost won the governorship in Florida. It's amazing. Amazing. So, did the loss push him to this point? Did him living in the closet for so long push him to this point? Um, I don't have a problem with him being whoever he is. I have a problem with him being weak, and so weak that he had to hide it, and then when the election didn't go his way, he just crumbled, right? So I understand that there's alcoholism in the family. I understand he was dealing with depression, blah, 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 blah. You were depressed about the loss in the election. And you were depressed because you were living a lie, at least publicly. And even though his wife knew, it still was a lie. Let me tell you why. The voters did not know. And we talk about Trump being compromised, right? We talk about Trump being compromised because other people know his business. And Gillum was compromised, which is how he allowed himself to be in a situation where he was set up in this debacle. And a debacle it was. So he took the normal road, which is rehab. Next he's going to say he's talking to his pastor, and you know what it is. And the he didn't want to run, but the constituents are pushing him to run, and he's going to run for something again, and it may be governor. It would be a comeback story. Not that we've never seen before, because Marion Barry was caught in a hotel, for those that are old enough to remember, doing drugs in a hotel. It wasn't crystal meth, but he was doing drugs in a hotel with some loose woman who set him up, and he was able to redeem himself. However, he was someone, Marion Barry, that was in the community, for the community, and he really had a track record that he could point to, and the people uplifted him. Now, Gilliam has a track record. He has done things. As I said, former mayor of Tallahassee. Is not that he has not been in the fight, but would you still vote for Andrew Gillum? And ladies, is this something that you could deal with? Could you after this humiliation, the public humiliation, this ex-Florida gubernatorial candidate, Andrew Gillum, being on the forefront people looking at you crazy, but you may hold your head high and you may say, you love the guy. The reactions to Gillum coming out as bisexual, like I said, there are a lot of politicians who are living this lie. The same lie that he's living, they live in that same lie. But they wasn't exposed in the way that he was, so they can play the role. They have the family, and they can do that thing, right? If these pictures didn't come out, he would still be living the lie. So don't get it twisted. The only reason that he's out on the Tamron Hall show talking about it is because he was caught. It's only because he was caught. This hotel episode. Imagine if he was the governor of Florida. Now, maybe if he became the governor of Florida, he would have kept his activities on the low. And maybe we would not know right now had he won. So the fact that his loss, and you have to have losses, okay? What was Meek Mill's album called? Wins and Losses, right? They're going to be wins and they're going to be losses. So my problem with Andrew Gillum, my question is, how strong is he? Now, he was elected the 126th mayor of Tallahassee, Florida. That was a win. Good. He lost, whether he was cheated, what have you, he lost in his bid to become the governor of Florida. That was a loss, right? Now, that loss pushed him over the edge. How strong is he? Say he became governor, right? You're going to have wins and losses. So when he has a win, becomes governor, and then a loss, something doesn't go right, is that going to push him back over the edge? How strong is he? These are the things that concern me. It's not so much what he does and whether his wife allows him to have, whatever kind of activities he has. Maybe they got an open relationship. And he does his thing and she does her thing, right? And just don't bring nothing back in the house and don't embarrass nobody. He violated all that, right? He brought some crystal meth in the house, and he definitely brought embarrassment to the family. But she is, I would say, it takes guts to stand up beside this guy. It's different than when Hillary Clinton stood beside Bill Clinton after the Monica Lewinsky scandal. It's different. And she was mad, right? It's totally different when the president or your husband cheats, allegedly cheats, whatever, and then this debacle, the photo, the vomit, naked men around in the room, unconscious, you know what I mean? That just it's different. So she is she's a special kind of woman. She loves him. I mean, it seems like it, because she could have left. But he's back in public life. And but let me say this, and I said this earlier for those just tuning in. He is not the first bisexual politician in this country, but he is the most prominent black man to come out as such. And the way that he came out, I'm glad that Tamron Hall got the exclusive on that. And he is reemerging in public life following a scandal that I said on this very program was the end of his political career. I said it. I did. And then he came back after his stint in rehab, and he tried to explain some of his actions, but he painted himself as a victim. This was hard. It was hard for me. It's hard out here. That kind of thing. And I was like, I don't know if people are going to accept this. He's going to need to explain himself more. There was a lot of negative pushback after he released his 11-minute video a couple of months ago. But this move that he's made on the Tamron Hall show could make room as more people maybe do this. LGBTQ advocates are going to support him. They're going to flock to support him. They're going to lift him up and support. They're going to support him. So it's not just, and here's the thing, it's not just that he's bisexual. He has a drug problem as well. And a couple of months that he did in rehab, that's good. But he still has a drug problem. I mean, this scandal is sad. It is sad because he was within a percentage point of being Florida's first Black governor. And the path forward for him is not clear. It's not clear. But one thing is for sure, that Gillum and his wife and his team, they saw that coming out was valuable. They didn't do that to help. This wasn't just to help closeted bisexual men with drug habits around the country. There was a reason that he did this. There was a reason that he did this. And what he says is that was the absolute worst day for him. And he said that at this stage, he does not have anything left to conceal. Transparency is something that I talk about with guests on this show frequently. As a politician, transparency is, especially in politics, something that is rare. Most of the politicians are lying to us. Now, transparency is something that is truly uncommon. But it could make things a bit easier for bisexual Americans hoping to enter politics. This guy being on the stage, being ridiculed, being humiliated, and then dusted off and resurrected. This may encourage some bisexual politicians to come out publicly. That's something that could happen. That could be a unintended result, because I don't think that he's doing this to help people. He never said he was trying to help people. This is about helping himself and trying to resurrect himself and dust himself off. He's a young guy, early 40s, right? He's a young guy. So he needs to figure out what he's going to do. Now, I will say this. It took courage for him to do that. His wife, RJ, it took strength for her to do that and to sit there with him. It took courage. So I will say that. But sadly, many voters penalize candidates for being gay and lesbian. Now, there are elected officials who are gay, but I think that on the stage in Florida, I don't know how receptive they are to this, but I'd like to know, would you vote for Andrew Gillum on a national stage, on a local level? Could he get your vote? Could he